Hello Deadlockers, I'm going to be talking about some new speculations regarding on the upcoming Deadlock Hero patch. One of these speculations are regarding a new menu redesign, new main menu, new splash screen. Unfortunately, there are no pictures of it except for this single image. Now, as for the leaked heroes, the majority of this information comes from the streamer's situation. It is difficult to tell how credible this information is, but I have linked a Twitter post of him in which he talks about the leaks for about 10 minutes. If you want to watch that on your own, feel free to do so. If not, I'll summarize it here in this video. I'll also link his Twitch channel in the description below. Now, onto the leaked heroes. First of all, we have Boho. We have a very low-res pixelated screenshot of Boho, but when I say low-res, I truly do mean so. Some of these abilities shown are a throwable projectile which can bounce between targets. Again, it's difficult to say if this leak is legitimate or not. More leaks regarding Boho is one of this Redditor's comment. In this image, it said that Boho is a full support who has a very slow gun, gives barriers to allies, and has a global ultimate. And lastly, regarding Boho, comes from the streamer The Situation, in which she states she's going to be a very cool spirit character. Her ultimate is essentially a vortex web that roots and does AoE damage. Unfortunately, that's all we have on her. Now, moving on to Doorman. We have found out from Crayon FPS and some other people that he is most definitely a semi-support. His ultimate will be one of the most interesting that this game will have to offer. The Situation said that his ult will be able to teleport you in one of the many buildings on the map, and you, the player, are going to be forced to try to escape out of that building. Whilst you're escaping, you will be taking damage. He also stated that the entire team can be teleported. I'm guessing the entire enemy team. Obviously, it's still speculation whether or not his ultimate is even going to be like this in the final update, but I'm honestly kind of interested to see more of these like wacky ultimates, rather than an ultimate, that gives you more damage or, survivability. But only time will tell if these wacky ultimates will even work for the game. Now, Bookworm. Bookworm's ultimate seems to be a bunch of running horses that push everyone aside. She seems to be a full-fledged support. In a different leak, it stated that her ultimate is a charge that stuns enemies. Could be the same thing, but worded a bit differently. Couldn't really confirm neither of that. Some more confirmation regarding Bookworm comes from Crayon_FPS again, in which he says that Bookworm is a very traditional support like in League of Legends. But I think this game would generally really benefit from more heavy support characters. Now, as for Drifter. Drifter is said to be Warwick from League of Legends, a very lifesteal kit-oriented character. One of his abilities is a throwable knife. If hit by it, marks you, does percentage-based bleed damage, and then he will have the option to blink or dash onto the target that he hit. Another nightmare for M1 characters, I suppose. Now, as for Priest. Priest will be an M1 tracking hero, but from what I've gathered, he'll be much more tanky. In the words of The Situation, he will be Abrams M1. He will have a shield, high gun damage, an ultimate that does even more damage, only information I have regarding his ultimate, and he will have a stun. In The Situation's words, he will be the most juiced up strong M1 character, the Thanos of Deadlock. Now, as for Vampire Bat. Vampire Bat is going to be Mirage in the sense that she's gonna have a mix of spirit and gun damage. Vampire Bat will also seem to be the most difficult character in the game, even more squishy than Haze and more difficult to do well with in a game than Haze. It's unsure if she will have any prior changes before the release, but her difficulty seems to be the opposite of Priest's and even more difficult than Haze. Now, Frankenstein. We have seen some leaks of him quite a while ago regarding his ultimate, which basically is just cheat death. But all the information we have on him for now is that he's a bruiser tank character that does damage with his quote-unquote aura. In the words of The Situation, you literally just run around your enemy and deal damage. As for the final character that will be released in the upcoming update is Punk Goat. The version that the situation saw seemed to be a very lackluster character, a very like meh character. He was a mix of melee and gun with a particular mechanic that would allow his reload to not be interrupted by punches. It's said that the current version of him is better, but the previous one was much worse. Unfortunately, that's all we have for Punk Goat. Seems like the chunk of new characters are going to be pretty bruiser tank-esque characters, except for like 2 or 3 at max. Something like Shiv, for instance, right? Which I don't know if most people want more of, in all honesty, but I'm very happy to see that there's going to be a bigger focus on support characters. I personally really enjoyed this game having more of a role identity, rather than each character being able to build anything and everything. And even in this current meta, even though I really like this meta, it seems like the best thing to do for now is to just build pure damage. Even if you're a support, you build as much damage as possible and maybe not have as much of a focus on certain active items which could help the team. Again, although I really honestly enjoy this meta, and I feel like it's one of the most balanced ones we've had yet, I would love support characters to feel much more like supports in the future. But again, maybe that's just me. As for the Heroabs characters, it's said that you should not expect them anytime soon or if ever. All of the new characters that will get released in the latest update will not include any of the Heroabs characters. Then, we have some minor information on map changes. All we know is that we're getting a whole new map, basically. And from this clip from crayon FPS, he mentions in a cheeky way that the side lanes are getting changed, but to what extent is unknown. There are also some leaks of Lash's new character design or model design. We have a little picture of him in-game. I think he looks pretty good. He loses his tattoos, but again, this is not necessarily a finished product, so maybe he'll have tattoos or something else once the update is finally released. We also have leaks that Valve finished the Geist visual novel, and every hero that appears in the novel has a remodel ready. If you remember, quite a while ago, there was a leaked visual novel of Lady Geist's story, like quite a while ago, I think 8 or even more months ago. I'll try to link the video of the visual novel in the description below. That every character that appeared in the novel has a remodel ready. And of those characters which did appear are Lady Geist herself, Abrams, McGinnis, Dynamo, and Infernus, the majority of which already have gotten a visual model rework, except for Lady Geist and Infernus. There have also been some leaks regarding performance updates, so in the future, the performance of Deadlock should be much better without losing any quality. Some new leaks regarding the update whilst I was editing from Pauselock is that we've got a very cryptic leak from Pauselock. I'm not necessarily sure what this is supposed to mean, but maybe you have a better idea than me. And in addition, we have a little clip from Defi saying that the new update should be released on August 19th.
Counterspell is crazy good in those situations. Patch August 19th, mark it in your calendars and remember me. Careful. Last time I did that didn't go too well.
Whilst I'm editing this video in 3 days. Now, to talk about something else instead of leaks. Deadlock Night Shift. The tournaments are back, and personally I couldn't be more excited. I generally really missed the esports side of the game, and when Deadlock Fight Night took a hiatus, it felt like there was a hole in the community. I watched the EU games, in which you could tell that all of the teams that participated were a bit rusty. Granted, most of them probably didn't scrim for a while or even play the game, but it's really nice to see that these tournaments came back. The winner of EU was Abrahams, and the winner of NA was Hydra Nation. Congratulations to them, it's truly wonderful to see them back. More news as I was editing this video, one win have left the competitive scene. Here's a picture of that. This comes shortly after ABL had his racist clip go viral, but I doubt that it was the reason for them leaving. If I were to guess, it's the player base, instability of the game, and the lack of money to be made from the game. In addition, I also wanted to share why my gameplay might look a little bit different from the average person playing this game. I play on 16 by 10, 1680 by 1080, and I've also tweaked the files a bit with which help me with frames, and I changed the FOV in the game. I'll link in the description below a little like mod, I guess, which kind of tells you what you need to do or what to write in the files in order to make the game look a bit more worse, remove the fog, and change the FOV. And in that mod itself, it's stated that the default FOV setting is 75, and it tells you how to change it to 80, 90, and 100. But for those who think that 90 is a bit too much like me and 80 is a bit too little, I'll also put up some number values on the screen for the following FOVs: 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, and 88 FOV. Those are the values of the numbers that give you that specific FOV. And that's kind of it from me. I'd appreciate honestly any comments or suggestions or on any future content or the video itself here. Maybe visual, audio. You know, I'm still very new at this, and I think all of you could tell. And in the future, I plan on maybe uploading just gameplay videos or something of the sort. Again, feel free to write anything. Also, I wanted to state that in this video, or the style of it, I guess, like I took quite some inspiration from the GOAT, Ansenex, and I'll definitely leave his channel in the description below. I wanted to additionally state that I'm sure if this channel will keep this same kind of direction, as I've mentioned, in the future I want to try maybe like some gameplay things, maybe, you know, opinions on patch notes, balance changes. Again, feel free to write anything in the comments, maybe something you'd specifically like to see or hear my opinion on it. And yeah, I generally really appreciate it. Again, I wanted to also state that I also stream on twitch.tv out of Daska, and I'll, you know, leave that link in the description below if you want to see me stream anytime. And yeah, have a nice rest of your day, week, and bye-bye.